Hi dear viewers, in the follow-up to the previous sessions we are going to make an admin panel or dashboard admin. In fact, the appearance that is going to be our final result is going to be something like this. I have already prepared this. Now we are going to see of which part it is made and how we can design them. Okay, I have the size here at 1920 times 1216. It may not be a standard size, but I have already made a new layer from the final work, and starting from that layer I get on with the job. Okay, as is the norm, Alt Shift, we hold Alt Shift to make a new one, and finally like this I change the size here 1920 times 1080. As you see, some of the items may get lost and it become invisible here and here. Okay, I correct them. Many of the elements don't need any changes because I want to rewrite all of the details from the scratch. That is why here I set the block page for this reason, so that I can perform and apply the last touches on my project. Okay, very well. Here, if you pay attention to this design, we have a left area over here where there is a title, there is a profile with this certain information, the items called dashboard, element, form, data, sample, paste, and extra are the other parts available. And finally we have a button that has a special coloring, light blue shade. Okay, and it's being shown over here. The header, we have the title there, the title of the dashboard, we have the search and the icon for the search section, and this section is where we have a toolbar or top bar, and here we have the menu, the signal quality that we have, the icons that are here. Okay, and finally the items that we have used here and in here, the view page that we have. Again, we have the dashboard word with 3 card boxes. On each card box there are a series of elements and items with different colorings, and here in fact is the table. The table is showing which items we have and how they should be used. It is quite easy. We start working to see how and it can be done, how this page is going to be set up and designed with all this detail that we have. As usual, first we are going to need a header and then a side section. So here we set our header based on what we had it in the image. We don't need a border. Very well, I set the grid layout here so that I can have enough practicality and enough details applied on my project. Okay, we go back to this image here. We have a side. Okay, in this side it is connected to the header. So here what I do is I draw the header. That's the first thing I need to do. Like this, I can zoom in on this. It will be improved. You would have a much better view. Okay, like this. I need to set this here. We don't need border. I zoom in. Okay, so that you can see what's going on. Very well. Inside the layout, let's see here, we have the exact items. that we need. Very well. We have a top bar here that contains a few icons. We can remove the icons from here, or I can download the online ones from the online sources and set them here, but it is very easy to use. I want to move these, use them on my project. Okay, let's see. Very well, I remove these and set it over here, and on this line I draw it there. That's right, exactly here. Very well. This way we have a picture with an online light, so that it shows the user is online. The green light that we have here shows that the user, the admin, is online. Let's set the layout the way it is. Here we have a name and finally a picture that is going to show up on our page like this. Okay, here it looks more like the notification that we have on the original page. Very well. I set this here. I decrease the border, reduce the size. I set it at the center of these items. They're going to occupy the central position on my page. Okay, and finally the color. I change the color to, I can use the same color code that I had before, but I want you to see how things are and how the color is being set up. Okay, very well, that's up to you. I save this. Okay, let me see. We need to move this a bit lower. It doesn't have a border. Finally, we set it here and we choose a name for this. Okay, for instance, the name would be John. Okay, admin. Alright, we set this over here. Okay, so that we see how things are. Okay, that's it. Up to here we have set up the items and there is virtually no problem. Okay, we have a section here called search, and the search icon, I remove the icon from here and I want to use it on my project. Okay, so I use it on my project. Alright, you can see things a lot better now that I have zoomed in on the page, and you need to get used to zooming in whenever you are dealing with the details. It is going to improve the quality of your job exponentially. Okay, and again the text under the pseudonym or the name search we set here. Okay, that name is going to be set up here, the search. Alright, I set it up right there. Very well. We go to the next item. The next item is the search project. I want to write it here. We don't want them to be identical. I want the title here, and finally the items that I need to set up here. Okay, so finally there is something that I need to do here. So there's going to be a dashboard. Okay, that's our dashboard admin section. That's the name that I'm going to use. All right, very well. Now, if we were to make them identical, that is, with the intended shape that it's going to have, the same exact font is chosen. So I make this font bold and increase the size. And finally, what I do is here I choose the color that I want. Okay, that's right. All right, very well. And the items that we need to have here. Okay, let's see. Up to here, we were able to do this. Okay, now here, in order to improve the profile, now there are certain steps that I need to take, steps that need to be taken carefully so that nothing is missed in the process. Here, okay, and it's going to look exactly like we had. Let's see, I set the profile over here, and now we enlarge it, we resize it, we increase the size, we set it here, and we need to set this one over this item so that I will be able to see it this way. Now it looks much better. Okay, up to now compared to how it was in the original one. I copy these 3 sections, and I want to set them on this part as well, the side section. That's where I'm going to set them up. Okay, I want to set them here and start working with them, doing the necessary settings. Okay, up to here. And now I start taking care of other items that are on the menus that I have here. Dashboard UI element component. I can copy this one, okay, and set them here. But it is a bit different. Let's see, we need to use these certain colors. The thickness would be set at regular. We decrease the font. Okay, so the first item is dashboard. That's right, up to here. I copy this along. At most 40. The next one, alright, component. Okay, UI element, again with a 40 space that I add in between sections. Again, I say UI elements. Alright, the next item, form and data table. Okay, form stuff and data table. Okay, data table like this. Okay, that's up to here. There are processes that need to be taken care of, the details that were set up. Very well, let me see. Yeah, the word, the stuff, double F. So I correct this, and we move on with the rest of the topic in the coming session. So stay with me. Hi dear viewers, we get on with the work that we were performing in the previous session. Here we need to have the data table icon, sample page, and extra as well. Okay, icon would be here. sample page, and finally extra. That's up to here. Each of these items have icons that I get from here. I extract them one by one like this. Okay, and set them over here. Okay, I copy them, and finally set them here. Okay, so that each of these items are set where they belong and where they perform well or supposed to perform well. Okay, I zoom in order to have the items. We can set them here, and by holding shift and direction we can move them to their intended place. We can move them where we want. I set this here. Okay, and finally on this item like that. Okay, the rest of the items in the same fashion are taken care of like this. I set them where they need to be. This one here and this one would be there. Okay, and this one here from stuff like this. Move it here. I set them next data table icon sample page. This is the data table that we need here. As you see, all the items need to be under one another. They slide down from top to bottom, and the grid layout that we have can really help us in arranging and aligning them the way we want to, and we talked about before. Okay, I set this here as well, and finally this one here. There is a final item that we move. That one is the extra that I set here. I zoom back, okay, so that we can see what we have done and performed. Based on the gridding that we have here, we have set the items where they should be and where they appear to be very well. Now the view looks like this. It includes a series of the items. The view has been named with the word dashboard based on the UI that we have. We have 3 guard boxes, okay, and the table where we have some information about some people, okay, like this. Now, like the one before, what we do is to set the items one by one. Okay, here I zoom in like this. That's right. I didn't want to change the color of the grid, so that's why I went with what we had chosen before. I think this item is included very well to the dashboard. The word is copied and set here exactly with the same space. It is a space. Okay, that's what is done right now. And the color is different. We choose a different color. We need to use the gray code for the color like this. I set these here so that we can have a better sizing. Okay. In the picture, based on the item we have here, we can change the layout. So we set the card box over here, exactly here, and there are 3 card boxes like this, and I copy it, okay, with this space. This one will be okay, like that. Very well. I set this here so that I can do my job very well. We need round corners, so we choose the right option. So from here, let's see, I choose 20 would do. We don't need any borders. Okay, I want the same color. And finally, I do the coloring here. As you see, there are 3 colors. I remove the layout, zoom in. If I pay attention, now the color is using linear gradient with these color codes that you see. We don't want to have something identical to the original sample, but it's going to be linear nevertheless. It is pale. Some changes are being applied. So finally, what I do regarding the colors is, let's see, here I remove the layout to see how my work looks. Okay, you can see, no problem. Here I choose my colors for this linear gradient. The whiteness first. I need to change this like that, and I set it at minimum, and the dark section changes like this. Okay, very well. Next coloring, I set it as blue. I don't want it to be identical. I just want you to see how you can get the spectrum of colors and choose from them a certain one that you have on your mind. As you see, I choose blue. And finally, set the whiteness at this level, the brightness, that is, make it as pale as we had before, and then the dark area. Okay, I fill it like this, and the top section would be set up like that. Now I see the items inside. I have an icon here and 2 shapes that are circular or circles. Okay, we can simulate that shape. So the icon takes and some objects very well. I start from the beginning like this. Here the icon is similar to the database, and this is the alarm. Can be seen, it can be a notification, and here I set this like that. For instance, for the first item, I copy this, I set it here, and the color, set it as white. This one too. Okay, I set it here. This one as well. I have a text and increase 69%, 60%, sorry. And this one. Okay, I set the text here. All right. Okay, I use the word learn, and in the previous videos I talked about different plugins and what learn and means and does, because here we want to have the same shape. We use it. Okay, I use this shape. The color is changed to white. This one I make it semi-bold, and I set number 25 for it. I say stock total. We don't want to have the identical header. The reason is so that we can simulate our own items. Dollar like this, and increase by 60%. Okay, I set this here. I move this a bit lower compared to where it is now. Okay, that's right. Increase by 60%. Okay, if you have paid attention, you realize there is a compression in the text that is a result of the data type that we have in paragraphs. Okay, you can change the settings. I don't want the exact items. You can do some simulation work like before. Okay, very well. That's what we got up to now. I copy these and set them on top of other items so that they cascade down. We can copy and paste them like this. That's up to now. Okay, and the next item that is being pasted over here. So we have 3 identical sections here. Very well. Now I use these 2 icons a little. I zoom in so that I can have access to these 2 sections. Okay, that's how I get access to these areas. I use these 2 like this, and instead of this one I use that and set it here, so that based on the one that we had before, and finally this one would be set over here so that we would have them like this. Okay, very well. We change this here so that we would have a better space for work, better work area, work or workspace, whatever you might call it. Workspace, much better choice of word, of course. Okay, they get to these 2 objects that we have here, and it is nothing special. These are 2 circle objects that have been set on top of one another. Imagine here, okay, here I set this one and this one. I copy this and set it here. Okay, I enlarge these. All right, good. Let me see. Okay, and this one as well. Here we don't want them to have borders. Okay, and the subject, as a matter of fact, needs to have a lower opacity like this. I set this at 70, and this one in the same fashion and format. And finally I set it at 80. And what we need to do here is to move them here, okay, like this. And finally we decrease the opacity and set it at 30, like this. Okay, we get on with the rest of the topic in the coming session.